Prime Minister Rama gave a media statement from Tirana International Airport after yesterday's summit in Sofia, talking about opening negotiations with the EU at a time when the EU itself is debating enlargement. Interior Minister Fatmir Xhafaj called the testimony of Veliu a digital fantasy. At the meeting that Xhafaj had with the German ambassador to the task force officers, he received her support in aiding the fight against organised crime. Today, the Mayor, Veliu, accompanied by Greece's ambassador to Tirana, Eleni Sarani, inaugurated a new computer lab in Vasil Shanto school. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 18th of May, 2018. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Alexandra and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country, translated into English. The united opposition called Albanians for a national protest on May 26, with the aim of collapsing the Prime Minister Rama's government. The invitation was addressed by the DP chairman, Lulzim Basha, alongside his allies with whom he had a meeting earlier. Basha said there could be no negotiations with the government related to crime and drugs. The united opposition invites all Albanian, be they Democrat or Socialist citizens, to join the major national protest to remove the single barrier to a European Albania, a government related to crime. We invite you to protest the removal from power and any state chain of those who help criminals from Agron Xhafaj to Habilaj. First of all, we are Albanian. We want a European Albania. We cannot lose time by dealing with the next criminal in politics. We must close the crime chapter in politics once and for all. No negotiations will be open without fighting crime and crime-related politicians, said Lulzim Basha. Basha said that today we should have both an interior ministry and policies which serve the people. Returning from the Sofia summit between the Western Balkans and the EU, Prime Minister Rama said he was optimistic about opening negotiations in June without hiding his fears over the decision. Rama said that anti-enlargement debates within the EU do not help, considering that there is a majority decision and not a consensual decision. Rama added that the government's main focus is concentrated on overcoming this moment and to enter a new phase. It marks an important step for full rapprochement between the Western Balkans and the EU and the intensification of the Berlin process in the view of the approach towards the objectives set in this process. This was not a summit on the subject of our interest, but the topic was inevitable, also as a result of our perseverance to make use of the available space in our function of our diplomatic efforts by the end of June. We had two important agendas in the gathering of leaders, even for the lunch that followed, said Rama. The first case saw a formal agenda. The second, which was more favourable, was free talk. Clearly, it is not a secret that we are at a stage where the agendas do not coincide fully. Our agenda is focused on further integration objectives, whereas the EU agenda focuses on the objective of reforming. An agenda in a very chaotic situation has different views and little clarity as to how the path of European reform will be if it is going to be a reform at all. The EU has an internal debate and it does not help our objective and purpose, but it was a good opportunity that we used beneficially. We continue to be optimistic that by the end of June we will have a positive result, said Rama. The Prime Minister gave this media statement from Tirana's International Airport. The Interior Minister, Fatmir Xhafaj, called the testimony of Veliu, published yesterday by the Democratic Party headquarters, as a digital fantasy. Standing next to the German ambassador, Susan Schutz, after inspecting the Special Task Force's office in Tirana, Xhafaj said that his job is to raise the Special Police Prosecutor's office, while the DP's job is that of a digital fantasy. My job is to work for the Special Prosecution and the Special Police. Their job is to work for the devised digital citizen. This is not my issue, it's theirs. I have chosen this road and they have chosen that road. For me, it is important that I do my job, said Fatmir Xhafaj. The German ambassador, Susan Schutz, stressed that the fight against organised crime is a key priority for EU integration and Germany will continue to support Albania in this fight. I had a visit to the Special Task Force's offices. The purpose was to be informed of their work. I got a positive impression. We have started work and we have achieved the first results. We will continue to support it. I want to emphasise that the fight against organised crime is a key priority for EU integration and we will continue to support Albania in this direction, said Susan Schutz. Albert Veliu, identified as Witness X from the audio tapping with Fatmir Xhafaj, published by the Democratic Party, has visited the Serious Crimes Prosecution Office. Firstly, he was seen at the headquarters of the Democratic Party, where he met with the party's secretary, Ivi Kaso, who is also a lawyer, and the DP MP, Ervin Saliani. Later, he was accompanied to the prosecution by lawyers Artan Murizi and Ivi Kaso. It is not yet known whether Veliu presented himself to the prosecution or if he was summoned to appear. The Greek Prime Minister, Alexis Tsipras, has expressed that he is extremely optimistic for finalising negotiations with Albania, which he considered to be even more difficult than that with Athens and Skopje. In a media statement given to Greek journalists in Sofia after the end of the EU Western Balkans summit, Tsipras explained the difficulty of negotiations with the fact that both sides had tried to resolve issues of concern since the Second World War. Regarding Albania, I also said at the summit the negotiations with Albania were more difficult and they took more time. Keep in mind that we had to resolve issues that have been open since World War II, and we are technically in a state of war. It is also the issues of exclusive economic zones and the rights of the Greek minority. We are on a very good path. I am extremely optimistic that we will have a positive finalisation for this in June, said Alexis Tsipras. Tsipras went on to say, now, if Albania gets the green light to start the process of joining the European Union, it does not depend only on the solution of bilateral disagreements. It is a wider issue which I think we have to deal with more as long as the June summit approaches. There are several countries that have different opinions to this issue and are looking for solutions. All Tirana's schools will be equipped with modern computer rooms for teaching information technology. The initiative was announced by the Mayor of Tirana, Veliu, and Greece's ambassador to our country, Eleni Sourani, who inaugurated the new computer room at Vasil Shanto school. We initially started our investment with the sports grounds, which in the afternoons and at the weekends are busy. The initiative for opening the playgrounds for the community was an ideal strategy. It is very important to invest in infrastructure as well as in providing knowledge, especially in the field of information technology. We want to continue with this with other donors in all Tirana's schools to equip them with modern computer rooms, said Veliu. According to Veliu, a significant contribution to the preparation of young people for information technology will also be the transformation of the pyramid of Tirana. Greece's ambassador to Tirana, Eleni Sourani, praised the cooperation with the municipality of Tirana and the implementation of this project in the field of information technology that will prepare young people for the future. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.